So, you were present Monday night for the raids. Can you give us some context about why those raids took place here at Occupy Boston?
Sure. During the march, when 10,000 of us were going down Atlantic Avenue, a few people here took it on themselves to go and expand into the Rose Kennedy Greenway.
That's correct.
And when we came back, we held our GA over there, and a hot topic was, all right, there's an order to get us out of here. Are we going to stay here, or are we going to leave?
Now,
and it was...
Isn't it actually true that the owners of the Greenway gave permission for us to even, for the Occupy Boston to even expand there, so long as they paid for the any damage?
Yeah, that's correct. Like at the original camp, we were promised to replant all the grass next Earth Day, and of course we would fulfill the same promises over there. But it seemed like grass was more important than a peaceful protest. But anyways, we all unanimously voted that we're going to occupy the space. We then moved all of the new tents into a cluster, and long story short, we gathered around in a human chain and stood our ground. And we made the chain around 12 o'clock. When it came to be about 3 o'clock, after a series of bluffs, the police were suiting up in riot gear. They weren't. They were in their cars just hanging out. They started to march down, about 120 of them. They surrounded us, announced that we were unlawfully assembling, though it's public space. There's some ambiguity about it because it's a public-private space. They surrounded us, and they initially came and attacked a group of about 7 veterans for peace who came down, who broke up their meeting. They came down, joined us, supported us. They came, they brutalized them, and flipped 80 and 60-year-old men over on their backs, slammed them to the ground, and they strategically came in, rolled over just one section of the chain, set down a mass of people, began to beat us. A number of people were, had 4 individuals leaning on top of them, arresting them, and then they began to just arrest us one by one in a circle. In all, they took 140 of us. And it was traumatic, to say the least, that our First Amendment rights were being, interfered. That the public space was more important than what we were standing for, and frankly, that Mayor Menino has no respect for us at all, or what we're doing. Though in the media he claims that he supports what we're doing, yet our way of going about it is unlawful.
What were the jail conditions like?
So, okay, when I got arrested, I was passive, I was sitting, I just kept chanting with my comrades, the people united will never be defeated. They lifted me up, they twisted my arm, I was not resisting at all. Tightened those zip ties so hard that my hand was going numb by the time I got to the police station. Many others had the same issues. An individual I was with had to get his zip ties clipped off of his skin. They had to break his skin because it was so tight. Another woman I met, she had nerve damage from the zip ties. She got a doctor's note for that. But anyways, we were in there for 14 hours for what turned out to be a civil infraction and a $50 fine. And all I got was a shitty Egg McMuffin at 6:30 in the morning, where they promised I'd be out at about 7:30. After they gave me the muffin, they're like, here's your nice hot meal, and you'll be right out of here in no time. I missed work, I missed school. It created a whole bunch of problems. All for $50. All for a fucking like parking ticket.
I can imagine. 2 more questions. What's the spirit been like at Occupy Boston since the raids? Can you elaborate, like your experience? What's the spirit been like? Because those were, you know, big raids, obviously, like you said. What's the spirit been like here at Occupy Boston since then?
People are hopeful. They don't want to give up the fight. They don't want to give up this space. Although it was a defeat logistically in some ways that less people can stay here overnight, I feel like the space has been growing with each day I've came here. You know, the bad publicity the police got just from brutalizing us and raiding our camp is a victory in itself, and it's only brought more individuals here. More people are curious who have never really thought about politics. You know, Mayor Menino's switchboard was inundated with phone calls while they were raiding us. There are a lot of people out there in their homes that are in solidarity with us, but you know, this example is something that will draw them out. That they need to come and protect the movement and stop sitting on the sidelines.
Can you give us an update on any of the other people? Is everyone out of prison, or is people still in prison?
There were a few individuals who had prior arrests in other areas that were targeted as like lead organizers, so they were kept for a longer amount of time. I really don't know the specifics behind that.
Okay.
Also, I had a friend, Barack, who was a diabetic. He hadn't eaten anything since, you know, the egg sandwich. He was visibly pale and like passing out, and you know, he was asking for assistance. You know, you'd think they'd have like insulin on hand or something, and just the way the police went about it was very aggressive and abrasive. They're just like, oh, when you seize, we'll come and get you. Because the options he was given was he could go to the hospital, right, not be heard that day because the courthouse was going to close at 5. This was around 4:30 or so. He could go to the hospital and then come back and stay in the jail cell a whole other day and then be heard, or he could tough it out and just wait to get his $50 civil infraction, which he did. And luckily here at camp they had some insulin shots and he was okay, but that was completely unnecessary of the police.
Is there anything else?
Obviously, they resent us.
Yeah. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Just come out, support the movement. If you have you know, feelings for us, for the people here, putting their record and their future on the line, come help us.
Thank you.